Okay, so my original plan was to upload a review of the Oblongs before I made this video, but I just watched an episode of American Dad that offended me so much I simply couldn't wait. But let's just start by saying that I have mixed feelings towards Seth MacFarlane's shows in general. Notice that I said shows. I'm sure he's a decent enough guy in real life, but fuck, his shows have gotten deplorable. Which is sad to say because I still genuinely enjoy the early seasons of American Dad and Family Guy. Hell, there's even a couple of episodes of The Cleveland Show that I think are okay. However, when you look at the episodes of these shows today, they're pure unadulterated shit. To be fair though, American Dad is still capable of having a good episode here and there. And if you want to see people talking about the worst aspects of these shows, go watch Mysterious Mr. Enter or Phantom Strider. They do an excellent job at ripping these shows apart. Now on to my gripes. While Peggy Hill is the queen of shit characters in cartoons, Stan Smith is definitely the king. To quote his son, Steve, Stan is the most abortion-hating, stem cell research-opposing, deficit-loving, affirmative action-despising, Bible-thumping xenophobe that Steve knows. That alone makes Stan a viable option for the king of shit characters, but a description alone is simply not enough to award him that dubious dishonor. Let's just take a look at some of his actions, shall we? The first thing I'd like to talk about is his greed/general dickishness. Specifically in the episode, There Will Be Bad Blood. In this episode, we meet Stan's half-brother, Rusty, who is half Native American. Before I go any further, yes, I understand the undertones of this particular episode. It's a giant allegory about how the European settlers totally fucked the natives over, but I'm not here to talk about history. I'm here to complain about a cartoon character. Anyway, back to the episode. We find out that when they were teenagers, their dying grandfather had two things to pass down to them: $20,000 and a seamlessly useless patch of desert land. Stan screws Rusty out of the money, and that's all we need to know for right now. We then cut back to present-day Thanksgiving. Stan has invited Rusty and his family over for years to show them the good life by literally rubbing it in their face. A year later, Stan gets pissed off at the family and takes them to Rusty's in an attempt to make them appreciate what they have, only to find out that Rusty is a multi-millionaire with a mansion that's incredible beyond words. It turns out that the land has mines all over it with millions of dollars worth of copper. They could have ended here and had Stan go home more humble about his experience, but nope. In a helicopter on the way to go home, Stan freaks out, screaming about how it should all be his, and how he got cheated out of it. For fuck's sake, will someone please shoot this motherfucker?
Stan, I am not going to...
Thanks, Roger. Anyway, a bunch of shit happens, and Stan has an epiphany, blah blah blah. Just like Peggy, I could find a lot more examples of how he's an asshole, but I'd probably have a fucking aneurysm or something from all the rage that would cause me to do so. And that's just Stan being a greedy dick. Now let's talk about his lying and manipulation. Besides the obvious episodes, The Vacation Goo or White Rice, where he's been having Francine hypnotized for 20 goddamn years for the most selfish reasons, which, by the way, hypnotism doesn't work like that, I want to talk about Seizure Suit Stanny, the episode that made me want to make this video. So, Stan discovers the wonders of texting and becomes obsessed with it to the point where he's driving and texting. When he eventually crashes, and when he's in the hospital, he lies about having a seizure while driving. He then gets a diagnosis of having epilepsy after the quote-unquote seizure expert only asks him one fucking question. If you haven't already guessed, I myself am an epileptic. And I'm not saying that it can't be used for comedic effect, even though it probably shouldn't. But, comedy's about pushing the boundaries. South Park had a funny visual gag where Kenny had a seizure in the episode Chimpokomon. That was funny because it was referencing that event in Japan where Pokemon caused all those kids to have a seizure. But here we have Stan lying about having a serious medical condition because he doesn't want to admit that he was in the wrong. For Christ's sake, the episode opens with Stan forbidding Haley from texting and driving. Not only is he a manipulative liar, aka a sociopath, but he's also a goddamn hypocrite. Later on, Stan is driving with Jeff. He starts playing around with his phone again and, surprise, they crash. And at first it looks like he's going to save Jeff, but he ends up just putting him in the driver's seat and says that he was the one that was texting. I'm so sorry, Jeff. So Stan ends up hallucinating because of his epilepsy medication, and his hallucination tells him to kill Jeff so nobody will know the truth. Stan then hits Haley with his car and admits his wrongdoing, but it turns out that that was all a hallucination as well, and the episode ends with Haley, Jeff, and the doctor letting Stan experience the pain and misery that he so well deserves. The only thing I can say about Stan that's good right now is that he does actually have some decent episodes, and there are some moments in other episodes where he genuinely does seem like a good person. But with the way this show's going now, I think it's safe to give Stan the distinction of being the king of shit characters in cartoons. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. And I'm not sure what the next character study will be, but yeah, come back for more. Auf Wiedersehen, meine Freunde.